Hello everyone and welcome to this pick a card reading video. This video utilizes the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck as well as cards from two different oracle card decks, and that is the Starcodes Astro oracle deck and the Butterfly oracle cards for life changes deck. And those are also listed down below in the description as well, just like the timestamps and everything, but I felt like this is a very important video for many of you. I felt very strongly to do this. And here is stack 1A, stack 2B, stack 3C. And if you don't feel drawn to any of the stacks here, then that means that this reading is just not for you. There are plenty of other readings that I have located all throughout my Brittney's Holistic Healing YouTube channel. And I will say, for stack 1, the crystal there is Moonstone. For stack 2, that is Desert Rose. And for stack 3, that is a Selenite Heart. So maybe you feel more drawn to the crystals, but really focus on the stacks that they're located on top of as well. And if you need some more time to pause and figure out which stack you are most drawn to, you can do that now. Just a reminder as well that everything that I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only and is not stated as fact. Alright, let's get right into the video. Hello 1A and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. So I have the 3 cards on top here representing you in your current state right now. Whether this has been you in your current state for a long time or it's more recent, this is you right now, or the feelings or the thoughts that you have right now, okay, the mindset. And then the bottom 3 cards are how you really will tap into your greatest potential, or at least how you should, how I will recommend for you to. And then over here, the oracle cards we have are Neptune, Vision, and then Sentimental Feelings. And I always find it interesting when cards from different decks match up in their color schemes like this, because not all the cards look like this or have these same colors. So I will get to those oracle cards later on in this, towards the end, and I will also read, I'll tell you what I'm picking up intuitively, but I'll also tell you what I'm reading in the oracle decks. Like the guidebooks, I should say, in the oracle deck guidebooks. There we go, Brittney. Ooh, sorry, I accidentally kind of kicked the microphone. Okay, let's just get right into it. So, of course, the first card I had to pull was the Tower for you all. And if you know about tarot, then you know that that's like, that and the Devil are the most, or the least sought after cards, I should say. That people tend to get scared when the Tower comes up. So don't be scared. I'm not saying like there's anything you have to be worried about necessarily, but for tapping into your greatest potential, the reason why you're not now, or just the state in general that you're in now, is, it's really interesting. There's, one second, I'm collecting my thoughts. There's different things running through. So of course there's going to be different things I have to say that will resonate for some of you and not for all of you if you've read or if you've listened to any of my videos before. Yeah, one second. Sorry about that, I'm back, but I was feeling very blocked. I had a very clear answers earlier on when I was pulling the cards, and sometimes I'm able to pick up on, well, a lot of times I'm able to pick up on the energy in general of the other person, the state that they're in. And I just feel, especially with the 3 cards that I pulled for the state you're in right now, a lot of you are very blocked. I think, what should I start with saying first? So first, I want to say that I think a lot of you have blocks up because of experiences that you've had in the past. And some of you maybe are still living through these experiences, whatever they are. And it can be about anything in your life. Any sort of trauma or any sort of guilt or shame that you have. But whatever has happened, it's allowed you to now be in this state of not being willing to accept change. I was getting a lot of like, not only blocks, but just stubborn energy in general. I think a lot of you tend to be stubborn. And again, I think it doesn't come from a bad place. It comes from a place where it makes sense that you have these blocks put in place and that you're stubborn, you don't like change. It makes sense. Okay, and also just in general, humans hate change. People like routine. But I think that is very specific to you if you chose this card, where many of you are not good with accepting change, and if it's up to you to enact change, you do not want change. And here's the thing, with the Queen of Swords being reversed, I think that a lot of you also are very bad at accepting help. And I also think that when there are changes going on, when the Queen of Swords is in reversed here, I think you're taking out any anger or frustration or anxiety or insecurity out on other people, as well as yourself, but also on other people. So that also makes it harder for other people to want to help you in the future. But I really feel that a lot of you don't like accepting help. Maybe some of you view help as weakness, because how you can tap into your greatest potential, having help is like asking for help or getting resources from other people or attaining knowledge from other people or from outside sources. It's important. And some of you, like, even maybe don't like doing your research. You just like to think that you know all the facts, you know everything there is to know about whatever. And that is not going to get you further in life in general, but especially for tapping into your greatest potential. It is okay to ask for help, it is okay to research, and it is okay to change your mind. Some of you, too, are stuck in this, because with that stubbornness and stuckness, it's like staying stuck in the same mindset and staying stuck in previous thought patterns and previous that are still present behaviors that maybe served you at one point in time but are not good for you anymore. So there's a lot of stuckness that I feel in the past. And again, it really can be about anything. This can be about being stuck in a past romantic or sexual relationship. This can be stuck in the past, like your younger self, when you felt more innocent, when things were less scary, like whatever it is, honestly. There's something, especially from when you were a younger child, it could have been like you were a teenager as well, or just starting in young adulthood. But, so whatever resonates most with you, but I'm just sensing for a lot of you, like, being much younger, when you were much younger, something happened, and for some of you too, with the Ten of Swords being upright, and just the energy I'm getting with the Tower too, like this feeling of stuckness, some of you maybe don't even recognize or realize or even know about what's keeping you stuck. Like, what I'm thinking of is suppressed memories and suppressed thoughts, that you really don't even really maybe remember certain memories that have happened, or else you don't remember them very intensely, or you know things happen, but it's really hard for you to recall, like visualize what had happened or remember the specifics. So focus on those moments of your life where if you don't know for sure, think about things that maybe you don't have a good memory of, or ask people, like ask a sibling, like, hey, did anything happen around this time, or this or that, or do you remember when this happened? My memory's kind of fuzzy, like. And if you feel comfortable, you could talk to a parent or somebody who was an adult around the time when you were younger, or I mean, even a friend or family friend. And again, with part of that too, asking for help, asking for confirmation could be a difficult thing for you as well. If things happen to you, but you don't want to go to a therapist and have them confirm things for you because you don't want to relive those moments. I think a lot of this stuckness is about reliving moments that happen. You don't want them to happen again, so you don't want things to change. You want things to be as safe as possible. And so staying where you are, I think a lot of you have control issues as well. And a lot of you maybe are more isolated and not connected to many other people. Or if you have, let's say even if you have a lot of family and friends, even if you say you're close to them, I think a lot of you aren't as close as you think you are, and maybe other people easily confide in you, but I don't see you opening up very easily to other people. So, how to tap into your greatest potential? Before I get into the bottom three cards, just looking at these top three cards, like, two of them are swords, and then one of them is the Tower, which is very major. A lot of you will be important is to do what's uncomfortable, and also work on your communication skills and not being afraid to ask for help, and also doing the work to discover the things that are holding you back from your past, and especially when you were younger, and especially if you didn't have control of the things that were traumatic or that you didn't enjoy going through in your childhood. So it's like remembering that, well, here, I'll just go into the last three, or the bottom three cards now, because it's important to say. So what I was gonna say was about, like, kind of like what was I going to say? What was I going to say? Parenting your inner child in a way. Because with the Justice card here, Spirit wants you to know that how you can tap, so versus your now, how you can actually tap into your greatest potential. We have the Justice card. You need to remember and know and acknowledge that you are an adult now. Well, many of you will be. I recommend watching this if you're 18 or above, just because of legal reasons. So please do not watch this if you're younger than 18. But anyway, you have to realize and recognize now that you have more control now than you did than the past. And you also have the ability to cut certain people off. I know I said tap into your communication skills better and like focus on how you communicate with people and how you talk to people and even how you talk to yourself. But also that means cutting out people who aren't good for you as well. And even too, we have the Queen of Wands here. The Queen of Wands upright is like the social butterfly. When it's in reverse, it's the anti-social butterfly, you could say. So some people you really do need to cut out of your life. Some people are really dragging down your energy and also keeping you in this negative mindset. So that, for a lot of you, I think will be family members. Because really, just because people are family does not mean you should keep them around. I don't care what people say. Like Patrick Teehan on YouTube, he's a licensed clinical therapist and social worker. He is absolutely amazing. He has a bunch of videos, and he talks about, one of the most important things he's talked about is how some people need to go no contact, or some people need to have a lot better boundaries with people. And even too, when I think of Seven of Wands, I think of, in the middle here, I think also of like having better boundaries. So a lot of you need to have better boundaries and cut out the people, because I think some of you maybe absorb other people's energies as well, more than you think. So you need to cut out the family especially, but also friends. I mean, anybody in your life. Absolutely anybody that you are able to and that it is necessary to or helpful to. So tap into your greater potential by cutting people out of your life that are not helpful for you. And also focusing on reparenting yourself and forgiving yourself for any part you took in anything that happened to you when you were younger. But also, even for the things you couldn't control, remind yourself that. Be like, okay, I'm in a different place now. I could not control where I was before. Now I have the opportunity to tap into my greatest potential. Now I have the opportunity to be a better person and to not be the kind of person that my parent was, or that my sibling was, or this family friend was. And I am not defined by my past, and I don't even have to be defined by my present moment if I am not happy with my present moment. And it is okay. And also a big thing too, we have the Justice underneath the Tower card. It's important to remind yourself that change is okay, and change, even if it's scary, it is necessary. A lot of times we cannot be stagnant, because staying stagnant does not allow us to grow and tap into our greatest potential. And what the Seven of Wands too, it's talking about not giving up. Don't give up on yourself, especially, okay? Don't give up on yourself, especially if you saw other people growing up giving up on themselves, or just as a society, I don't really know. Like, you see people maybe in your community, you see people just give up on things, but mainly I'm thinking about your family members and people who are like older than you, or siblings, but especially siblings who are older than you. So don't give up on the things that that bring you joy and happiness. I'm looking at the Ten of Swords again, because I want to say some of you maybe also with the Ten of Swords upright, that can deal with loss. So some of you maybe lost a parent in childhood, or lost somebody very close to you when you were very young. So with that too, this is also about rebuilding. And you can rebuild a connection with somebody from the other side. Like, you can feel connected with them too. But it's also about, with the Seven of Wands, it's about moving on, and not in a way that you forget about that person, but it's about living your life. Because people who truly love us and want for us to succeed do not want us to stay stagnant. They do not want us to only focus on certain things, like them being, not here anymore. And for those of you who have lost someone, I'm going to sense that for some of you it's more recent. And so again, go through the grieving process, especially if it's more new. And also, a lot of people say grief is a lifelong process, and I haven't ever lost somebody who's been super, super close to me. The person closest to me that I've lost was like a year and a half ago, my uncle. And even then I didn't talk to him much, but I still felt that impact, right? But But for you, like, I'm just imagining if I lost my mom tomorrow, that would be, well, actually, I don't know, because I think people, when they're on the other side, like, you know, hopefully they're healing and they're looking after you, but I have a different viewpoint. So anyway, I'm not going to say put my grieving process, what I think it would be like, onto you. Whatever your grieving process is, if that resonates with you, go through that. And again, even the grieving process of like healing from your past in general, whether it's loss or whatever it is, going through that process of grief, but then remembering that you need to get back to living your life, because the people who love us want for us to succeed, and also you should love yourself enough to want for you to succeed. So really, all in all, tap into your greatest potential by cutting out the people who are not good for you, talking to yourself more kindly, and especially I'm hearing like affirmations. You can even be neutral affirmations, just like reminding yourself, okay, this is not who I am anymore, and rebuilding yourself and not being afraid of change, okay? So I want to now go on to the oracle cards. So we have Neptune Vision. That's number 26. Let's go to that. Let's see what it says in here. Okay. There's a full list of words that are said in here, but I just want to talk a little bit about the action part of it, what it says to do, and then also go to the challenge and the gift that are listed here. So action. Pray, meditate, intuit, use your divination, rest and dream, activate the right side of your brain and step out of sequential logic into a sense of the infinite. Engage ceremony and ritual, find a dream or vision and bring it back here to manifest. Challenge. Neptune overwhelm can turn acceptance into passivity, imagination into illusion, sensitivity and the hunger for spirit into addiction. Watch for water damage. Some of you too, I think, have addiction issues, likely because especially from the Tower and the Ten of Swords upright and the Queen of Swords being in reverse, being that maybe you felt there's nobody else to talk to or turn to for that. And then gift. Allow yourself to float, to swim in that great ocean of the collective consciousness. Soak up the presence of divine soul. There is no separation between you and all sentient beings, between you and the realms of gods and spirits. And then before I get to sentimental feelings here, I was going to say that I was going to intuitively tell you what I picked up on when I pulled these cards, especially both of them, like, one after the other. I think a lot of you, what will be helpful is to... Well, I'll tell you actually after I read sentimental feelings. I was going to do it before, but I think there's a reason why I'm doing this first. So I'm just going to read you what it says in here. There's something from your past that is attracting your attention. This card is asking you to explore old and deep feelings as a way of opening and healing your heart. Perhaps you've located an item that brings back memories. Use those memories and feelings as a pathway to explore emotions you may not have processed previously. Now is a perfect time to work on unhealed situations from the past so that you can resolve them and move on. Having guidance from a therapist or support group can help you face feelings that seem intimidating. Ultimately, you will come to recognize that there was nothing to fear at all. This process will lead you to let go of heavy weights you didn't realize you were carrying so that you can enjoy your life and move forward fearlessly. Additional meanings: recovering a lost sentimental object, creating a scrapbook, writing your memoirs, paying tribute to a loved one, and collecting vintage items. And this is very, very spot on with what I've been saying, actually. So that's great validation for me, and hopefully for you as well. But I think, okay, I'm going to tell you what I picked up on intuitively now with both of those. I feel that many of you will benefit from seeing things, like writing things out and seeing them. So let's say you easily get into your head, or even not. I think some of you just are on autopilot. Maybe some of you are in your head a lot, but when people are on autopilot, because of that, I think it's good to have something tangible, but also something you can see. So, I mean, this could be like those stress balls. That could be very helpful to bring you back to your present awareness. And also, like, carrying around, like, let's say wearing a necklace of your deceased mother, if part of your process is about grief and loss. That could be very helpful for you. And if you're feeling anxious, just rubbing on that necklace or looking at it specifically could be very helpful. Having affirmations listed and like actually writing them out and having them somewhere where you could see, in your bathroom, in your bedroom more specifically. Having things laid out, and I think especially having things worded out when you're in a safe space, like writing things like affirmations out. Like, I am safe, and then you can place that somewhere especially let's say you work from home or you work in an office setting, having that somewhere where you can easily access that and see that if you're feeling stressed, and that reminds you, okay, I'm able to access this space where I'm feeling safe. Like, that is just an example. But again, there's a lot of work that needs to be done as well for healing those old wounds. And I think too, for a lot of you who have difficulties envisioning what has happened to you in the past, or even recognizing the things that are affecting you in the present moment, of course, with the Neptune vision, I recommend like hypnotherapy, past life regression, if you're able to do that. I think a lot of this has to do with current life stuff, though, not really as much past life issues. Although a lot of times if we don't work on things in past lives, that's why karma, you'll reincarnate and then you'll keep going through that lesson until it gets conquered or actually like worked through. But I guess I forgot where I was going with that. Vision, Neptune. But yeah, hypnotherapy if you struggle with envisioning, I think the more you work on trying to uncover your past, and also even, again, reaching out to people if you're able to, that will help you connect the dots, connect the pieces, and be able to maybe visualize if that's something you want to do, although it is not 100% necessary to do. But alright, that is what I have for you, Stack 1A. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this video. Across all of my socials, it is at Brittney's Holistic Healing, so you can go and check out my stuff. I do not have a Twitter or X account though. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and you can like this video if you liked it. You can comment down below if you chose this stack and if it resonated with you, and you can also comment down below the stack number, and then come back in the future if you took any of my advice or if this changed you or impacted you on your life's journey in any way. But thank you so much, 1A, and take care. Hello 2B, and welcome to your part of the Pick a Card reading video. So the first 3 tarot cards that we have listed here represent you at your current state, and the bottom 3 tarot cards represent how to actually tap into your greatest potential. And over here, the oracle cards that I have picked, or intuitively picked, whatever, Ascendant, keyword entrance, and body changes. And I will get to those later on toward the end of this reading for you. And I'll tell you intuitively what I'm picking up on with those, as well as what is stated in the guidebook. Also, I will say, I think it's very interesting how body changes and ascendant are very closely related, because ascendant relates to how people perceive you and how you look. But again, we will get to that later. Let's focus on the tarot cards. So these first 3 cards, 5 of Cups upright, Page of Pentacles in reverse, and Page of Swords in reverse. I think it's very interesting how I chose pages in reverse for how you are now, and then to tap into your potential, you have to, there's 2 king cards here. So I think that's very, very interesting, and they're upright. So the state you're in now, I think a lot of you chose this. The main thing I was picking up on very clearly is that many of you probably struggle with confidence and with self-esteem issues, okay? So the 5 of Cups, generally, we think of it dealing with loss. So some of you, but it's also about like grief and sadness in general. I feel that many of you maybe have been put down many times in your life, so it can be hard for you to tap into your greatest potential because you do not believe in yourself. And with these pages, when I think of pages, I also think of ace energy. And with pages, I think of starting new things. And since they're both in reverse, I think you're very afraid to start new things because you think you will fail. Can I get that out? But you think you will fail, especially with the Page of Pentacles being in reverse. It's like you're afraid to put yourself out there and to do things. Not even just try new things, but to do even the things you know how to do. Because you are afraid you will fail. You are afraid you will mess it up, and you're afraid that maybe other people will judge you, or other people will scrutinize you, will make fun of you, or that you'll look like dumb or stupid. With the Page of Swords being in reverse too, I think some of you struggle with making connections with other people. But also Page of Swords in reverse a lot of times can indicate the struggle. It can indicate inaction in general, or it can indicate not thinking things through as well. But I think for a lot of you, you just struggle with inaction. A lot of you struggle with taking any sort of action because, again, you are afraid that any step forward will immediately cause you to have steps taken back. And a lot of you, I think, are really struggle with public perception from other people. And again, a lot of this likely deals with things that have happened in your past where people have judged you for doing things a certain way or for looking a certain way. I think for a lot of you, I mean, I will have to at least briefly mention the oracle cards because they really tie in beautifully with these cards here. I think a lot of you maybe struggle with body image issues specifically, and also maybe you've been judged by how you look, or some of you maybe, if you are not a white cisgender heterosexual person, you maybe have been judged for that, for being part of what's considered a minority. And because of that, you may struggle to tap into your greatest potential because you feel that you will be discriminated against. And for that, I'm not going to say you are invalid for thinking that, because unfortunately, discrimination still exists, and it should not, of course. And I'm really sorry if you have had experiences, and if you continue to have experiences relating to that, because that's not okay. And also with body changes here too, like maybe you don't fit into the mold of the ideal stereotype at this given point in time. And by the way, can I just say, I was talking to my mom about this recently, I've talked about this before with people, but it's like body image, like body ideals, I should say, change so much by not even the decade, like by every year. It seems like fashion trends are always changing. What was once considered cool is now outdated, and then it like gets brought back into what's considered fashionable or cool to wear, even if it's not fashionable, like Crocs. Like that's a thing people love now. I remember I had to wear Crocs because I was a swimmer, so we would have to wear them to prevent getting warts on the bottom of our feet. And you would wear them around also to prevent you from slipping. And at that time, wearing Crocs was considered like you were a loser. But now there's all these different cool things you can do to customize your Crocs, and people love Crocs. And people are like, well, they are kind of ugly, but also they're kind of cute. It's like, okay, things are always changing. My point being, I think that's also, maybe some of you already realize that as well, where it's like, okay, I could do this one thing, but then what society accepts as normal or gives praise to is always changing. And I think for a lot of you, that may even be a subconscious thing as well, where you understand that, where it's like, okay, I don't want to do this because then what if it's considered not cool anymore within like a year or two? Like, for example, getting tattoos. I have plenty of tattoos. I know nowadays it's more like you're cool if you get tattoos. You're not considered just a complete outcast. But who knows, maybe in 5-10 years from now, like, people will look at me like, you are absolutely nuts. How do you not get all those taken off? And so, I mean, just as an example, maybe you're like, I want a tattoo, but I don't want my family to judge me because they're very religious or very against that kind of stuff. Or I want to get a tattoo, but what if this thing that I want to get a tattoo of, what if I don't even like this thing in the future? I think some of you are very much, it's interesting. Some of you are overthinkers, but I think a lot of you just don't like to think about certain things in general, where it's like you push things out and push things away, and you stay in your safe bubble by just not doing new things. And again, I really want to emphasize this, because I think even doing the things you are good at and the things you know, it's like you just don't believe in yourself. So it feels like no matter what you do, you're always scrutinizing yourself, and you can never say the right thing, you can never do the right thing, and you think things are never going to be good for you. And there's just like a general feeling of sadness. So I think a lot of you are stuck in this sad bubble. And I'll move on now to the 3 cards below. So the King of Wands, the Chariot in reverse, and the King of Pentacles upright. Because seriously, like, Spirit wants you to know you can tap into your greatest potential. And I want to focus on the Chariot in reverse first, because they're saying this is meant to be something that takes time. You are not meant to change overnight. You can make small changes here and there. Some people thrive the most on making the most minute changes that make such a large impact, because it snowballs into a positive effect of changing different areas of your life that you want to see changes in. I think some of you don't even know the areas that you want to see changes in, or the potential that you could have. Like, it's like not even something that you think about, because like, okay, well, I just exist, I guess. It's so hard for you to get out of your own way. And I say that with love, because, I think a lot of us have been in this kind of state before for whatever reason. And Spirit just wants to remind you, it is okay to take your time, to be patient with yourself, to not have to rush through things. Like, it is completely okay. Just take your time, figure out what works best for you. And also, I think they really want to emphasize, because the king energy, kings are in charge, okay? And when it comes to tarot, they want for you, especially with this King of Wands, it's like, well, I want to say King of Pentacles, setting boundaries so that for this, a lot of it can do with societal expectation, and also like what you see on social media is a big thing I'm getting. So if you need to block certain people or unfollow certain people, or just not be on social media as much in general, I think that will be very helpful. Not comparing yourself to other people as much. And also, like, again, just King of Pentacles upright is truly, this King of Pentacles believes in themselves so much. So you need to believe in yourself. And with this King of Wands too, it's like, even if things are scary, you just have to go for things. Ultimately, that's what you have to do. It's just, I just see somebody kind of like going on a run, like almost like halfway across the country just for no reason. It's like, do things that are scary. For some of you, you struggle with doing things in general, so even if there's a little bit of impulse involved in your decisions that you make, I think for right now that's an okay thing to do, not long term, because I can also see it swinging the other way, where those of you who are stagnant and don't take any action could become very impulsive. So it's okay at first to throw some impulse in there, but don't let the impulsivity control your life, because I see that being a very big issue. But again, slow changes. King of Wands wants you to just take action and do, and even pair with the King of Pentacles. Some of you maybe thrive more on things that are structured. And Spirit is saying that is still okay to do as well. But just remember too that with the Chariot in reverse, there will be setbacks in propelling you forward, especially with your mindset and what you tell yourself. Okay, things will change and you will change, and it will be uncomfortable, and it's a process. And for the things that you are able to structure and plan out, if you want to do that, you are able to still do that while still making positive changes. But first you have to take that step, even the smallest step forward. That will help you, okay? Taking small steps will be very crucial for you. And I just keep hearing, I'm trying to think more about what the King of Wands is trying to say to me, but I just keep hearing like, go for it. You just have to get the ball rolling. Like, again, I see this ball of momentum that's just getting bigger and bigger and going faster and faster. So you just have to take those steps. And really a big crucial part is believing in yourself and believing that you have good qualities. And the qualities, like, I think you really should highlight, because I think there's a lot of insecurity tied up in this group. Focus on the qualities that you like about yourself. And for the qualities you don't like, why don't you like those qualities? And it doesn't have to do with what other people say or think, or what your family says or thinks, what you've been told to believe about yourself and about others. I think a lot of it has to do with conditioning. So getting rid of those conditioning, not listening to what other people say, listening to what feels right in your heart of hearts for what's best for you. And then going for it, even if it's one small step at a time. I see that snowballing into taking many large, big leaps and being able to ultimately tap into your greatest potential. So now I will move on to these oracle cards over here. So I'll just tell you right now. I mean, with ascendant and body changes, I already said it earlier. It's pretty straightforward to me, but a lot of you maybe struggle with body image issues, and also maybe with changes that happen, you constantly, maybe your weight easily fluctuates. And I feel like Spirit does not want you to focus on too much on any negative feelings that you have. I feel like you get down on yourself enough. I think Spirit wants you to highlight, I want to say highlight the positive parts of yourself. And I'm not even just talking about personality. I'm talking about the actual physical qualities of yourself that you like. I know that body neutrality is a thing, and that can be very good and very helpful for some people. So if that resonates with you, you could do that. But I think for a lot of you, you can still have neutrality while still highlighting the parts of yourself that you do like. And if you don't like any parts of yourself, like, I think you should try to at least find one thing. Or you could ask somebody who you love or who loves you, and especially somebody you're in a romantic relationship with, if you're like, hey, what's your favorite part of me? Like, actually, you could be like, other than like, the sexual part of me, like, what parts of me do you enjoy? And like, why, But also remember to get rid of those standards that are put in place from society and from family members or whoever, because ideals of beauty and even what's considered healthy, they're always changing. I mean, back in the day, doctors recommended cigarettes to people. Like, that's obviously not very healthy. So do what feels right and healthy for you. And also, I think a lot of you need to do things in moderation. That's a big thing. And for some reason, I was picking up on that with the Chariot being in reverse, too. I think sometimes it can feel like you can maybe go all in for something. And maybe with the Five of Cups upright too. Some of you maybe, when you do take action, like say for example, eating habits, maybe this is more of an extreme example, but it's very common nowadays, unfortunately. Let's say you have an ED. Let's say that after periods of time of restricting, then you like binge, and then you have a lot of shame, and it's like you feel like you can't have balance. A lot of you, which is also I think why I brought up the body neutrality. It's all about balancing like the negatives and the positives, and not only being so harsh and negative on yourself. I feel like Spirit just wants me to get into what the cards are saying though, so I'm going to do that right now. 35 Ascendant. And also, just realizing you are beautiful. And again, not everything is external. It's internal as well. But okay, Ascendant. I'm going to read only parts of what it's saying here. Action. How do you see the world? Take a long look at the assumptions and presumptions through which you filter your experience of reality. Really look at how your privilege, trauma, or certain attributes of your history can distort the reality of the moment. Do what you can to dismantle those obstructions so you can see the whole view. Open that aperture. Challenge. The front door is only one part of the house. Be willing to look beyond appearances and into the heart, but don't count on others' ability to do so too. Gift. Over time, your reputation is built on what you do, not how you look. Exactly. So it's okay to still focus on the things that you like about yourself, but everything in moderation, and also looking at everything in general. Okay, let's go to body changes now. This card guides you to focus on the changes in your body so that you can influence it in a healthy direction. It's time to take charge of your own health and remain optimistic. After all, the butterflies show us the power of going through physical changes as they enter the chrysalis phase. You are undergoing a similar preparation stage, which will bring you blessings of new strength and insights. Whether your body changes are a result of the aging process, your medical status, or your lifestyle, this card reminds you that you have many options available. Give yourself permission to take positive and healthful action steps supportive of your physical well-being. Additional meanings: a new exercise program, changing your healthcare regimen, improving your diet, getting a makeover. For some of you would benefit from exercise as well. I think for some of you will be able to tap into your greater potential when you are more active, and that can even include I try to do a 10-minute walk each day, even something as simple as that. And especially the vitamin D, that we all need that as well. So that could also be very helpful for you. Getting outside would be very helpful. I mean, just doing anything more active in general. I think what can keep us stuck and stagnant can be not moving around. Because then it's like the energy stays there. So getting up and moving around, even if it feels uncomfortable to do so at first, or if you're not used to getting up and doing anything simple. Even throughout the day too, if you have a desk job, getting up at least once an hour, stretching out a little bit, doing anything like that would be still very absolutely helpful and necessary for you. Some of you too, I think, focus too much on your own appearance and maybe struggle with over-exercising, or again, restricting and only eating certain foods. And now it's not a good idea to do that. Again, moderation. I'm hearing moderation for a lot of things in life, but especially with how your food intake, your water intake, alcoholic intake, and also, just anything, your fashion, don't overspend on, clothes, for example. I think they don't want me to say anything more with that. I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. Just accepting your body as it is, even if it's neutrality, being focusing on the good things that your body does for you as well, and also not leaning on bad habits, especially from what society says. But that is it to be. I hope you enjoyed this reading. You can check me out across all of my socials at Brittney's Holistic Healing. I do not have a Twitter or X account though. You can also subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. And you can also like the video. If you liked it, you can comment down below if you chose to stack. And if it resonated, you can also comment down below if you chose to stack, and comment again in the future if you took any of my advice or if there's any changes relating to what I've said here. but I will leave it at that. Thank you so much, 2B, and take care. Hello, 3C, and welcome to your part of the Pick a Card reading video. Now, okay. Okay, I will say, so the oracle cards that were chosen are progressions, keyword is journey, and welcome to the new. I will get to these later on, what I pick up on intuitively, as well as I will read through the guidebooks for each, but okay, the first 3 tarot cards listed on the top represent you and your state now, and the bottom 3 cards represent what you can do to tap into your greatest potential. Okay. Some of you are absolutely not going to be happy with me with this, but I have to say what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing and intuitively picking up on and just what's being shown to me. So, again, if this first part that I'm about to say doesn't resonate with you, just wait until I get to the part that does. But many of you, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm drawing it out, but many of you, the reason why you are not able to tap into your greatest potential is because I want to say like you aren't taking things seriously enough. I think many of you as well, a lot of you really hate things going stagnant, and I think a lot of you, I'm just gonna say, a lot of you like party too much. A lot of you are social, and it's okay to be social, but a lot of you, I think, escape. You escape from your, oh, you know what I just realized? Ace is 1, right? So 1, 2, 3. Ace of Wands 1, 2 of Swords 2, 3 of Cups 3. Interesting. But I think a lot of you are staying stagnant by, and it's interesting because, again, if you're always doing different things and not staying like in one place or staying and doing one thing, that's still a form of stagnancy because you're keeping that energy of not being able to stick through something going. But a lot of you are not, a lot of you suck at being alone, I will say that. And I don't mean any of this as like a read, okay? Because there's different reasons why people escape, but like a big key theme I'm seeing is escapism. And a lot of that is through partying, maybe through substances as well, okay? And maybe through, I think a lot of you struggle with maintaining relationships, or else maybe you don't want a relationship right now. Maybe you're just, because with the Ace of Wands, I think of sex. So a lot of you maybe are just sexually exploring yourself and your body right now and other people and figuring things out in that sense. And maybe you're just not wanting anything long-term, any commitments. And I don't know if that's something you want forever. I feel like a lot of you maybe think it should be like that for a while, but it's okay to have that, by the way. Some people are like that forever, and that's fine. If that's what works for you, just be safe. But I honestly don't see a lot of safety in what's going on, because I see a lot of jumping from place to place, and a lot of that is, again, through your social interactions and your sexual interactions as well. I see you not being able to stick with one person or not being able to be alone. I think a lot of you really struggle to be alone. I think it makes you very highly anxious. So that's one of the reasons you can't tap into your greatest potentials, because you can't even like sit down with your thoughts and think. And it's like you're always on to the next thing, even if it's not something you truly want. If it's something you don't truly need, even like maybe you want something, right? But that doesn't mean you should go for it. With the Ace of Wands being upright, I think a lot of you also are very impulsive, and paired with the Two of Swords, I think many of you. Ooh, I want to say 3 of Cups too. I think a lot of you are easily influenced by your friends and by society, and easily get peer pressured as well. And but the Two of Swords is about indecision, so I think a lot of you go back and forth between what you want and what you need, or back and forth on what you actually truly want or what you truly need. So I think it's hard for you to even understand what it is that you should do, because you don't sit alone with your thoughts for long enough. And also you get influenced by other people. If other people tell you, no, don't do that, or no, do this, or maybe do that, but then do this, or this, and then that. I think you get easily influenced by other people. I think a lot of you actually don't trust yourself as much as you think you do, because you don't sit down and actually think for yourself or with yourself, and maybe you let other people even speak or think for you, and that can also be very dangerous. But I see, it's interesting because with you jumping from place to place, I see a lot of you still being afraid of new things, which is interesting because I feel like a lot of you go through new beginnings a lot, or like new or changes or things a lot, but I think it's when changes happen outside of your control that makes you really scared. And even too, if you see the Two of Swords in traditional tarot being blindfolded, a lot of you don't trust your intuition as well though, so it's really interesting. There's like a weird dynamic here where you don't trust yourself, but like, yet you make like impulsive decisions, and maybe you even think that's your intuition, but it's not. Sometimes like your intuition can show up as impulsive action or impulsive thoughts, but I think the impulsivity comes from a place of the insecurity of not being stagnant. I wonder if some of you maybe moved around a lot in childhood, or there's something in childhood that happened where because I feel like I just keep seeing like you jumping. Like I'm seeing like a Monopoly board for some reason, like something like that, or like a Yellow Brick Road. What do you call it? No, Chutes and Ladders. That's what I'm seeing. Like that, somebody like jumping on like that sidewalk thing. I don't know if I'm thinking of the right thing, but I'm seeing that. But I see you jumping from thing to thing, but then not allowing things to settle in, and then just going on to the next thing. It's very interesting. And I'm trying to see, because those are the main things I'm picking up on for you. It's just a lot of back and forth, not able to let things ride out and let things happen. Just, I think a lot of you are very impatient. And even if things are about to happen and you know things good are about to happen, or even bad or whatever, you jump ship and you don't allow the things to happen. I think a lot of you too may struggle with accountability, and that can hinder your friendships and relationships and keep you going down spirals. I think it will be very hard for you to establish yourself and what you want to do in life. And I'm sorry, a lot of this seems kind of like loaded. It's like I feel like a lot of you are going to take this personally, and I think that's part of the reason why some of you do jump from place to place and from A to B to C to D all the way to Z and back and forth to A to Z to A to Z, is because like when people give you advice or like critique you, I think that also sends you either in the opposite direction. It can send you in the opposite direction, but some of you too maybe are stubborn and you just keep going at something even if you know it's not good for you. So that's the thing too. It's like once you've decided that this is what you want to do, it's like self-sabotage. You're doing things that you know are bad for you, and then it's almost like when things get good, just jumping ship, or when things get like really bad. So you just don't let things settle. And so I feel like I should just leave that where it is, because I think you will know what I'm saying with all that I've said. But now let's move on to how you can actually tap into your greatest potential, okay? So we have Two of Wands in reverse. We have, I'm just making sure, okay. Yeah, sometimes I say the wrong thing, but yeah, the Nine of Wands upright. And then we have here the Seven of Cups in reverse. So I think something that will really help you is, well, first of all, some of you, I think, with the Two of Wands, with it being reversed, I think Spirit is saying stop escaping. Like, ride things out. Don't keep trying new things. And especially with the Seven of Cups in reverse, too, it's like, yes, you have options, but don't go through every single option that you have available to you, or every single resource you have available to you super quickly. And also, you don't even have to do every single thing. Like, do what you're most drawn to. Don't be impulsive. Trust your intuition. And then stay in that one place. Even if something doesn't feel right when you start doing it, I'm saying do not jump ship. You better ride that wave until it is complete. That whatever task or whatever thing you're doing, or whoever you're interacting with, or whatever it is, you need to do something. You need to have a plan and stick to it. A lot of you like to jump ship, move around, do different things, and Spirit wants you to stop looking at a way out. Unless if it's like a dangerous situation or it's very toxic for you, whatever it is, then of course don't be in that, but make a decision, and then even if it's bad, then you can suffer the consequences of your actions, and you will not have to stay there forever. Life will not be like that forever. But you need to make decisions and ride them through. You cannot just keep jumping around, because I see spirit right now like sitting down a child and being like, hey, you need to stop running around. Like, you need to, if you actually want to take different, maybe you're serious about something in your life or someone, but you're just scared. And with the Nine of Wands upright too, this is about doing things that, it can be about boundaries, but I think it's more so about boundaries of yourself, like putting yourself in a cage a little bit, but I think it's about, in this context, doing the things that are scary, because I think for you, jumping around isn't even as scary, because then it's like, okay, well, at least I'm not going to get hurt by this thing that maybe I really am drawn to, or this person that I really love, and they won't hurt me. You have to stop. You have to stop with that, because then you will never find true love, or you'll never find true happiness, or find, your dream job, dream career, whatever, dream location, city. You won't be able to do that if you're always running around anyway. You have to stick it out. So really, to tap into your greatest potential, you have to make a decision on whatever, and you have to stick it out for longer than you normally do, or wait until something is, and that doesn't mean, like, for example, if you don't love, like, if I'm talking about a relationship here, that doesn't mean, like, just get married to somebody, like, or get engaged to them and marry them just because, even if you don't love them anymore, just because. I'm not saying that. Like, again, don't, like, you know what I'm saying. Like, let's say you're starting to want to date. Maybe let's go back to the situation where I said earlier, maybe you don't want to be in a committed relationship. Let's say maybe you're thinking of trying to settle down now. So, but then you fall back onto your old habits of, like, ghosting people, of only doing one-night stands. But maybe that's not what you truly want to do. So then what you need to do is have boundaries with yourself and be like, I cannot do this. If I actually want to try, I actually have to give it a try. I can't just jump ship when things get hard. So you're going to make a decision in that situation, like go on a date with somebody. And then you can be like, okay, this wasn't a super bad date. I can go on another date with them. And maybe even one after that. And then I'll see how I'm feeling. And if I don't like this person, I can tell them to their face and communicate, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I'm sorry I don't feel this way. Or I can just continue going on dates with them, and we can see where it leads, and I won't get scared about people hurting me. I think a lot of people are afraid about people in situations hurting you. I wonder if, for some reason I keep wanting to bring the relationships up, and this can also involve friends as well, but, so I wonder if, like, somebody hurt you in some way where it's like, you actually don't believe in yourself as much as you maybe project. Or maybe you're not even as confident as you think. I think actually some of you struggle with overconfidence, but some of you maybe project confidence and that things are all good when they're not. So, also too, with Nine of Wands, it's a very vulnerable card. So I think part of tapping into your greatest potential is finding people who, like, not having such a large group of friends that you just, like, go out and party with, but finding those key people who you can actually rely on and who you feel safe with will be very crucial for you to tap into your greatest potential. But again, also making firm decisions, writing things out, and not moving on right away. You need to ride the wave, and then there will be greatness on the end of some of those tunnels. That doesn't mean it'll be always or right away, but you need to ride things out and not be impulsive and have a lot more patience, okay? And fine-tune what actually interests you. Maybe you, like, I have a lot of interests and a lot of things I want to do with my life, but you also have to fine-tune your interests to what you want to do and to accomplish in the now. Okay, which is interesting too, because we're actually going to go over to the oracle cards now, and I have progressions here. I think actually, well, I do want to say some of you struggle with long-term. I think a lot of you do struggle with thinking long-term as well, which ties in with what I was saying throughout this reading for you. I forgot what I was going to say, but, focus on the present, but also some of you really need to focus on the future as well, but not in a way that, if I do this in the future, then I'll get hurt. I think is a big thing I wanted to emphasize. Okay, but let's go into the oracle cards now. So we have progressions, and the keyword is journey. Let's go to that. And that's the last card in this guidebook that is listed. And I'm going to read only parts of what are listed in here. So it says action. Progressions do not speak of a passing thing, but to the big, sweeping arcs of karmic fate, to your soul's journey. Your present situation may not make sense in the short term because it has more to do with big karmic patterns and how those intersect with the karmic patterns of the world's progress and less to do with your daily existence. Stand back and look at your life's journey. Think of the years you engaged with the world and the years you needed time for more personal work. Consider making a timeline or painting this landscape to see where you are in those big sweeping patterns. To help guide you in the moment, consider where you would like to be at the end of your life, a far distant point, and look back. Let this future become your lighthouse to guide you, even though you may have to go around the rocks and work with the tides, jumping ship. I'll let your lighthouse guide you. Challenge. This is not a small obstacle or opportunity. This is part of a complex pattern. Every choice you make changes how it unfolds. Gift. Trust the tides and set your own sails. Oh my gosh. Of course. Okay, now let's go to welcome the new. Change can be exciting, bringing you opportunities for joy, learning, and success. This card indicates that you may have been anxious in the face of newness. You are reassured, though, that this change will bring many blessings for everyone involved. Although it may occur differently than how you would have scripted it, all is in divine and perfect order. First, I'm going to stop here because I do think, again, a lot of you jump ship around it a lot and stuff because you're afraid of the changes that are happening or of certain changes that you have to make. So you like being in control maybe of certain changes. That you can change it, then you have the power. Anyway, have faith that you'll know what to do in each moment. Trust that your needs will be provided for every step of the way, as long as you follow your inner guidance. Allow yourself to feel excited about this change and approach it with a spirit of adventure. Additional meanings. A big positive change, respecting the free will choices of everyone involved, even if they differ from your own, taking an adventure trip, going on a holiday, trying something completely different. And some of you maybe have jump ship and do a lot of things that are different from one another but also similar in a way. So maybe try something different in terms of the energy around it. Like, for example, let's say you always talk to your family when things go wrong, and then they're like, yeah, you're right, you're always right, and they're kind of toxic positivity around you. Then an example would be trying something new would be going to therapy and being like, oh, so how my family this isn't a healthy dynamic that I have with my family. They're just being very lenient with me and letting me do whatever. That is just an example they came up with on the spot. But again, welcome the new, do new things, but also stick with them. If you're going to do new things, stick with them. Don't just jump. I keep saying, I don't know why I don't really say that, but don't just keep jumping ship. Don't just keep going from A to B to C to D all the way down to Z. Ride the waves, as the guidebook had said, and see if you actually enjoy what you're doing. I see a lot of you too, once you settle down more, whatever that means for you, once you settle down more, you'll be able to tap into abundance and success truly and truthfully. But that is what I have for you, 3C. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Across all my socials, it is at Brittney's Holistic Healing. And I do not have a Twitter or X account. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Brittney's Holistic Healing. It really helps me out a lot. You can also like my video, which helps me out a lot. And you can comment down below if you chose this stack and if it resonates with you. You can also comment down below if you chose a stack and then comment down in the future again if you took any of my advice or if things change. And you can just give me an update if you like. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, 3C, and take care. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this video. If you liked the content, make sure you subscribe, like the video, and comment down below, as it really helps my channel out a lot. You can follow me on my socials listed here on the screen. Thank you, and blessed be.